This presentation will share some strategies that could be used when the student are demonstrating behaviors of concern when riding a bus. Strategies can be categorized as proactive or reactive. These are some examples of proactive and reactive strategies. Proactive strategies to help us create situations that cause something to happen, such as positive behaviors, rather than responding to a situation after it has occurred. Reactive strategies are our responses to a situation after it has happened. We want to try to be proactive in our approaches to help reduce or eliminate a likelihood of problem behaviors occurring. It is very important to remember to follow all the policies and practices regarding safety and reporting behaviors of concern to your supervisors and school administrators. You also need to follow FCPS policy regarding the use of restraint and seclusion. Please also remember our students are diverse and come to school with all different skills and ability. There are supports available to help with students who are demonstrating behaviors of concern on the bus. Ask to meet with the student's case manager to discuss your observations and find out what strategies are being used in the classroom. Ask the case manager to help develop strategies for the bus. Case manager could seek additional support from the ABA coach for the behavior intervention teacher. Take a few moments to learn more about your students. This will help you develop a rapport with them. Students often will respond in a more positive manner when they have a relationship with a staff member. Here's some suggestions on how to develop relationships with your students. Smile. Wave. And greet them by names. Seems like little things, but a warm welcome can make a difference to a student. Praise good behaviors. Talk with students about things you know they are interested in, such as sports, music, or toys. You don't need to be an expert on the subject, just willing to ask questions and listen to the students' responses. These 7 behaviors were identified by transportation staff as the biggest challenges staff are currently facing. Students display behaviors for a variety of reasons. For example, some students want attention from others. Or maybe they are trying to escape or avoid something they do not like. Other times students may be trying to gain access to an item. While other students may engage in behavior is because it physically feels good or relieves something that feels bad. On the following slides, you will see some strategies to reduce the occurrence of negative behaviors. Spitting can be a behavior of concern for students. Spitting behavior can lead to social isolation and is not only unappealing but may cause health concerns. For health concerns, wear PPE. When possible, put distance between the student and others. To try and reduce or avoid the likelihood of spitting, reinforce positive behaviors. Using quiet, clear, firm tone of voice to give a 1 or 2 word redirection. Or use a verbal signal, distract the student or try to engage the student in another activity. Reinforce positive behavior or positive bus ride. When possible, ignore the behavior. This is not pleasant, but to deny the student attention. Safety is priority on a moving bus. Please follow all FCPS guidance or practices from transportation about what to do when students are a danger to themselves or other. When possible, try to put distance between the aggressor and yourself. Give the student space. Use proximity or blocking. Use proximity or blocking. Move items away from the students, such as books, book bags, or toys. Try to distract the student and engage the student in something else. For example, use a short, clear redirection or nonverbal signal. Have items to distract the student or engage them in another activity. Biting behaviors can occur for a variety of reasons. Sometimes students are trying to seek attention or when communication is difficult for our student. Biting may be a way they express their feelings. Staff needs to be aware of their body positioning or proximity to a student who engages biting behaviors. Consider wearing long sleeves and using PPE. Assign seats out of reach of others. Use a verbal or visual prompt to give clear, concise directions. Distract the student. This can be done by using identified items or even through short conversations. Staying seated while the bus is in motion is an important safety rule. Students may need to be reminded of this expectation. When students are following the rules of the bus, staff should praise the students or provide a reinforcer. Have some items on the bus that can distract the student during the ride and engage them so they are more likely to remain seated. When appropriate, ask students where they want to sit. Who do they want to sit with? Redirect students with clear verbal or visual prompts. Again, drivers need to follow the guidance or practices from the transportation office regarding what to do when students will not stay seated. Students are less likely to use disrespectful language when they have a positive relationship with a staff member. Think about ways to develop good relationships with the students on your bus. Students cursing or using disrespectful language are disruptive and may hurt other people's feelings. But they are not causing physical harm. So at times it may be best to ignore these students. Provide directions or prompts using a short, clear verbal or visual directions. As adults, it is important that we model the use of appropriate language. We need to use a calm tone of voice and refrain from name-calling, making threats, or using disrespectful language towards students. We need to stop, take a deep breath, and not get pulled into a yelling match with our students. Students do better when they have consistent rules and know the expectations. Remind students of the bus rules and the expectations. When possible, give them choices, for example, where to sit or who to sit with. Provide items that can help keep students engaged or distracted during a long bus ride. If the non-compliance behavior is not causing a safety risk, staff should ignore it. This will help avoid power struggles. Keep behaviors from escalating. And it will reduce the attention the student receives. When students are engaging in self-injurious behavior, staff should attempt to block, use body positioning or proximity. Provide distractions. Use calm, firm tone of voice to redirect the student. Staff should use PPE as needed. The bus staff needs to report these absurd behaviors as soon as possible to their supervisors and school staff members. The best way to manage challenging behaviors is to use proactive strategies to reduce the likelihood of the behaviors from occurring. Find ways to provide positive feedback and positive attention to students. Get to know your students. Be clear and consistent with the rules and the expectations. Use a calm tone of voice, provide short, concise directions, or use verbal signals or prompts. Work with school teams to develop informal plans to help students and identify items that can be used on the bus to help keep students engaged or distracted during their ride. Work together to develop incentives or reinforcers for positive bus behavior. Share your observations with staff regarding behaviors of concern on the bus. If behaviors of concern continue or escalate, IEP meeting should be held to discuss bus concerns. Remember to follow all FCPS guidelines and practices regarding bus safety. Reporting to your supervisors and school staff and the FCPS policy regarding the use of restraint and seclusion. Thank you for all you do to keep our students safe as they travel to and from school each day.